Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action in honor of Bretonnia's upcoming update. For those of you who did not see, I should have already put up a video regarding the what the teams are working on February update, which I know it's technically March now, but hey, we're getting it going. And yeah, in honor of that, most likely going to be a Bretonnia update. It's all but confirmed in that post that it will be. So yeah, this is a game from Shetland Apache, Bretonnia taking on the Empire. So let's get to it. Fey Enchantress on foot. You can see there with the Holy Wardens of La Maisontal, we've got a ton of peasants here, 5 peasant archers, and a whole line of men-at-arms with polearms, 1 men-at-arms with spear with some chevrons, just because he couldn't quite afford another polearm, I would imagine. We've got some foot squires as well, defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, as well as the Knights of the Lion-Hearted, and 2 paladins on horseback. For the Empire, we've got warrior priest on foot here, a whole line of spearmen. There's some Stirland's Revenge here. Volkmar the Grim also supporting the infantry line. We've got just tons of spearmen and spearmen with shields. Hammer of Witches, another great cannon here. Looks like a light wizard, and some demigryph knights with halberds as well. One of them is the Royal Alt of Griffites, hidden in the woods. So yeah, you can see both forces just kind of positioning right off the bat. The cannons are going to be opening up on the Bretonnian archers, which is a great target for them. Looks like they have taken some hits already. But yeah, the archers, honestly, the peasant archer is just such a cost-effective unit for the price. They can do a ton of damage at range. Their leadership is pretty crap, though, so if you can shoot them with a bit of artillery, you can often force them to rout before they even get in range to shoot themselves. So yeah, you can see that cannon opening up shots. A clean miss there, but a nice spaghetti line. Going to be a little bit hard to hit from the front, at least. And the cannons won't do too much damage, but any damage they can do. Ooh, looks like there's a hit. And you can see it does a ton of leadership damage. Even just that one hit does some significant leadership damage. But the archers are going to pull up in range and start volleying into the spearmen with shields there. It's going to be pretty painful. The spearmen with shields, obviously, with their missile block chance. Not a great missile block chance at the end of the day. And only 30 armor, only a 35% missile block chance, so they will actually take quite a bit of damage from that. These spearmen have no shields at all, and they're just going to get absolutely wrecked by these peasant archers. So not the greatest start for the Empire here, but they're pushing forward, trying to fight at an arm's distance from this cannon, which is definitely a good idea. These cannons, I should say. And the cannons, now that the enemy is in more of a static position, should be able to get more consistent hits. You can see Volkmar pushing forward. He does give that Grand Shield of Faith. Unfortunately, probably should have popped that a little bit sooner on the advance to help mitigate some of that missile fire. May not have helped a whole lot, but the cannons now raining some fire in the back line as the frontline engagement gets underway. Volkmar, hammer out, just charging, no holes barred into the back line. It's probably not the best idea, as he honestly won't trade super well against foot squires in melee, but also dropped that Grand Hammer of Sigmar, which again only hitting himself, actually, unfortunately. Did not hit that spearman, so a little bit inefficient use of those support buffs there. But meanwhile, over on the other side, the Stirland's Revenge able to get some good volleys in on these polearms here. Oh man, absolutely devastating volley there. The demigryph knights just kind of hanging around the back line in a nice defensive position for now. Looks like the defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis might try and come get a charge on these Stirland's Revenge here. They're going to get screened out by those spearmen there. Very nice play by the Empire there. Meanwhile, on the back line here, this Knights of the Lion-Hearted has been getting focused by a unit of cannons, has taken a ton of damage on the approach, so very cost-effective use of that cannon. Both cannons actually looks like raining fire there, but the spearmen also going to be used to try and screen out here. Will they get into position in time? It's hard to say. It looks like actually Ned of Ammontok dropped at the last second there on those knights. So yeah, the armor-piercing fire from the silver bullets, and the spear is going to come in, finish them off. So some very nice defensive play for the Empire. Stirland's Revenge also managed to get through that engagement unscathed. The defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis did pull through into the back line, though, might be getting on those silver bullets. You can see the infantry battle is also just not going great for the Empire. Most of the spearmen have been routed off at this point. Volkmar still fighting in the back line against foot squires. His regeneration means he'll take a long time to die, but he's not going to win that fight. And yeah, Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis very cost-effectively charging through the back line. Knights Errant are just such a good unit right now, and especially Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis with their Frenzy just makes them that much better. They get some additional charge bonus, melee attack, and so on. Oh, here come those Demigryph Knights, though. They definitely don't want any piece of that. Those Demigryph Knights will absolutely tear them to shreds. Currently ripping through some Foot Squires here, so the balance power is still very even despite the losses for the Empire. The infantry engagement, you know, they're just cheap spearmen at the end of the day. Most of the killing power here is in the ranged units, and then these 2 units of Demigryph Knights, of course, as well. Spearmen going to be tossed in as a reserve here to help bog up some of these peasants, and hopefully get some knights as well. Very nice cannon shot, did a little bit of friendly fire there, but oh man, those defenders shooting a little bit danger close here, and the Demigryph Knights are still around. Silver Bullets have regrouped as well. Looks like an overcast net of Ammontok, making sure to catch all the units in this pocket, including the defenders, so they're probably going to get shut down at this point, but there are some halberds getting through and poking at this Hammer of Witches here, which is not great for them. Light Wizards trying to help defend, but it's not going to be enough. At that point, it looks like maybe actually if the peasants get terrified, then the cannon can get back online. So yeah, so far so good. Nice awakening of the wood for these Sterling's Revenge, and they're suddenly in a pretty dangerous position, kind of caught out of position here and isolated. They do have some units kind of protecting the flank over here, but they're about to give out, and the Paladins have also come in as well. So yeah, a little bit of a misuse of the Sterling's Revenge, and oh man, the Holy Wardens will absolutely tear them to shreds, and that's not going to be great in terms of cost for the Empire, because the Sterling's Revenge are a relatively expensive unit. They can hang with some low-tier melee units. They have okay combat stats, but against someone like the Holy Wardens, they're going to get cut to pieces. The Demigryph Knights did manage to sweep up and through the back line, though, after doing a number on the defenders there, getting into these archers and routing off that huge archer line. So you can see, despite that, the balance power is starting to shift as the leadership for the Empire kind of got ground down there in that melee fight. Volkmar has just been bogged up in these peasants this whole time, and the Warrior Priest was also routed off as well. He's come back from rout for the moment, but we'll see. The loss of leadership is going to affect the balance power pretty severely in Bretonia's favor, and you can see the regrouped let's see, defenders here are able to get through and just finish off just about that Hammer of Witches crew. They do get one last net of Ammontok. The Silver Bullets are going to try and disengage here and get a volley on them, but other than that, there's no response force. The Demigryph Knights trying to get a rear charge here on some halberds, left in a little bit too long, taking a ton of damage, and that the Paladins also coming in as well to start rear charging them. You can see they picked off a few models already, so a little bit danger close from the cannon, but we'll see. Those Foot Squires do still have quite a bit of models left, and the Paladins are relatively healthy. Volkmar managed to come back from routing, but I don't doubt he's going to make it back to friendly forces in time, but the Demigryph Knights just force pathing through. They're going to come through, finish off the last of these defenders here, along with this Light Wizard, and just try and make sure these cannons stay secure if they can. They're going to now ping pong over to these Foot Squires here, hopefully get a quick terror route. They should, yep, with the terror there, manage to sweep them away, and now hopefully they can get some good damage on these isolated Paladins. They really ought to just turn around and engage on the Paladins, but it looks like going after the Holy Wardens here, just trying to see them off as well. So we'll see. Looks like net only was able to be cast on one of those Paladins there, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it does mean that they'll get relatively isolated. Silver Bullets still running around somehow, and these state troops fleeing, or rather tactically retreating from those Foot Squires there. Yeah, we've got Sterling's Revenge also back online and some regrouping state troops, but the balance power has taken a pretty severe shift as Volkmar is pretty much done for at this point, just surrounded by peasant archers, and yeah, a lot of these missile units are now being shut down as well. So definitely looking to be in Bretonia's favor, but still a surprisingly close battle despite the early losses for the Empire. Enchantress is going to try and come forward here and help out a little bit in this late game. She hasn't really been using her drain too much so far, but the Paladins are in a little bit of a pickle here. They could potentially get terrified, especially this one that's now surrounded here and taking rear hits from the Light Wizard there. Looks like kicking him in the back of the neck there, and some spearmen also getting some pokes. So that paladin also gets terrified away, actually, and then suddenly the Fey Enchantress gets netted right in front of these cannons, and that's just a bad situation. The Sterling's Revenge, or sorry, Silver Bullets are also popping some shots, and then the Demigryph Knight's just going to come whack her over as well. Yeah, she immediately gets terrified there, but despite that, has pulled the bounce power back a little bit, but the Empire forces still very close to army losses at this point. They did manage to finish off the Holy Wardens, though, so we'll see with these Demigryph Knights, as long as they can stay healthy. But the Paladins, I think especially this Paladin, has enough in the tank to finish off the few Demigryph Knights that remain, and the army losses situation's just not going to favor the Empire here. So pretty unfortunate, but the Fey Enchantress actually, as she was getting attacked there by the Demigryph Knights, did get a little bit of a drain, and it was enough to rout off the Demigryph Knights. She gets picked off by a cannon to finish things off, and then shortly we're going to get army losses. You can see most of the Empire forces shattering at this point. And the bowmen firing in, the halberds coming in from behind, just this cannon crew holding out still, trying to kick some peasants in the face, which they will do, but not going to be enough, unfortunately, to bring victory, and it will be a very close win for Bretonnia, and big thanks to Shetland for sending that one in. That was a super fun battle. A bit of odd builds on both sides, but still, that peasant horde just rolling over the Empire forces. I really like the use of the peasant archers there as well. They did some great work. On the Empire's side, the Demigryph Knights did excellent work, did a great job, honestly, of defending the cannons, and kind of keeping the missile units online despite some rough situations. Like the cannons, both 96 kills and 2 XP chevrons here. This one only got 27, but the hammer was focused on cav more of the time. You can see that the Knights of Lionhearted didn't do a whole lot, only 6 kills there. 91 though on the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. Again, Knights Errant, super good unit at the moment. 126 on those Holy Wardens, just cutting through tons of state troops. Men-at-Arms with polearms as well with 103. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. The infantry fight definitely went in Bretonnia's favor, and that ultimately was what was the end of that. Personally, I would have liked to have maybe seen a steam tank from the Empire side. Like if you were to cut, I mean, obviously these units of demis did very well, but if you were to cut some, maybe like some of these missile units, maybe you cut either the Silver Bullets or the Sterling's Revenge, even though they both did okay here. Personally, I would like to have seen a steam tank, just because the extra terror, the big armored, monster, for lack of a better term, is pretty hard to deal with for Bretonnia. Like this particular build, they had a lot of halberds. The Paladins could maybe have got some good work done against it as well, but still, a steam tank is a pretty big risk and can kind of run roughshod over Bretonnia a little bit. So I would have liked to have seen maybe you cut like Sterling's Revenge, and one of these artillery pieces wouldn't quite be enough. You'd have to still finagle some other things, like maybe you cut Volkmar down to just a regular Archlector, just to make him a bit cheaper. But, yeah, just find some way, basically, to bring a steam tank, because, honestly, in this matchup, this thing's pretty good. The missile attack, obviously, kind of that direct line of fire cannon, pretty accurate and very good against enemy cavalry. The armor-piercing anti-infantry is good against infantry, obviously, and the fact that it's a big armored terror-causing chariot with a high charge bonus of 80 means that it can do a lot of work against Bretonnian infantry. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend a steam tank in this matchup. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.